A very good evening, everyone. I welcome you all to the mentoring come doubt solving session of Code Heist Week 6. It is our great pleasure to announce that Code Heist Contest 6 was a success just like all the previous contests, with even more than 3,000 registration competing for the win. We have created a queries voice channel on our Discord server for queries and doubts, which you all can refer to during the contest to get help for the issues if faced any. The link of our Discord server is provided in the chat box and also in the description. It is a pleasure to introduce Ariman Jain sir, who is very well versed with DSA and has a profound knowledge of competitive coding. He is here to help us with the questions and doubts. Ariman sir, you may please proceed.
Hello everyone. I'm Arman Jain. So I will be taking your week 6 mentoring session of Code Heist. So before starting, explaining any question, if you have any doubts related to any specific question, please go ahead. I'll try to handle that first, and then I can go for one-on-one questions. Sorry, question like each question. So I'll wait for like few minutes. So like people are excited for the session. That's great. Okay. So like I think Code Heist was a great success. I, nice. So, okay, so I don't see any specific doubts. So let me just start with the question. Okay. So, let's start with the first question. Let me see. So, let's start with division two because it's like a little easier. So there were three questions: pattern box, game of numbers, and math magician. So let me start with pattern box. If a question is simple, I just explain the logic, and then we can proceed. And if it's a little tricky, I'll explain the logic also. I'll code the logic also. So the pattern box was a simple question where we have to print the pattern. So the pattern was like in. So let me give an example. So this was the pattern. Let me give few more example. Okay. So here n is 2 and here n is 5. So the logic says what we have to do, like it's very simple. We can see a very normal pattern that first we are like iterating from 1 to n, 1 to I, like we are iterating from 1 to I, and I is going from n to 0, n to 1, I think. Yeah, n to 1. So it was going from n is going from 1, sorry, from n to 1. So what we are doing, like we will iterate from 1 to I. So I will be first n. So we will print all 5 and then we'll print in reverse order. And then in next line, we will print 1, 2, 3, 4. But for extra ones, like for the rest one, we print stars. So this can be easily done in 2 loops. So, okay, let me code it because it's a very simple question. It's, you can see like what is the gist of it. So let's take int n, c in n, for int I is equal to 0, L less than n, I plus plus. So we have to start with n. So yeah, so greater than is equal to 1, I minus minus. Like I draw L, I will go from n to 1. So that's what. Just one second, let me check. Okay. So increase the font. Let me increase the font a little bit. Okay. I think this should work out. So yes, let's minimize this. Okay. So n is going from n to 1, and we will go from j is equal to 1 to j less than is equal to n and j plus plus. And if j is less than, what do you say? If j is less than I, less than is equal to I, we will print uh, we will print that number I. Sorry, we will print j. Else we will print star. So that was the logic here. And for similar, we'll go for like for reverse order. So where we will go from n to greater than is equal to 1 and j minus minus. And if j is greater than I, uh, yeah, wait. If j is less than I, it gets similar here also. Yeah. So and then end line for, let's see how it work out. Let's do for 5. Let's execute. So we can see 1 2 3 4 5. So what we're doing is simply iterating from n to 1, because like the bound. So like there is a boundary, like here it's 4. So all number greater than 4 are printed as stars. Here all number greater than 3 are printed as stars. Here all number greater than 2 print the star. So we are using I as that boundary, and our boundary is from decreasing from n to 1, because the last one is 1. All the numbers from 1 to n, but if a number is greater than I, we are printing star. So this was a simple logic behind this. So let me just quickly go to the second question. Okay, so the second question was a game of numbers. So let me first print the question. Okay, so there is a competition to see who can eat the maximum chocolate. Rohini is keeping track of everyone's numbers in the competition. Her boss now wants her to select second highest element, help her to write the print the second highest number. In case there is no second highest, print no runner up. So basically, we need to find the second highest. There are lots of logic we can do. Like we can solve this question. We can either sort it, we can find the maximum, and then we can find the maximum again. But it can't be the first number, or we can just keep the track of first two numbers. What we can do, like a simple logic, if a is equal to max and b is equal to second max. Okay, second max. Now, if a number is greater than b and smaller than a, then we can easily replace b with the new number. But if a number is greater than a, then our max will new max will be that number c, but our second max will be a, because it's like when you are doing a race, if someone goes in front of the first person, who is the first person, like who is running in the front, and if a person goes in front of him, the first person automatically becomes seconds, right? So the same logic goes here. We can just iterate over the array, keep track of this, and then we can easily find second max, which will be stored in b. This can be similarly done to like third max, fourth max, but after that it become like a big logic, because it will be a little lengthy logic, because we need to put lots of if conditions. So that's why we can use heap for this also. But if we need a lot of, like if this second max is variable, we need a kth max, so we can use a heap there. But only if it's like a variable. But if it's very specific, then it's better to code it, because then it will be a linear time, and heap will be n log n time. Okay, n log k. So I won't code this because it's like just the solution, like just the logic is enough. Let me. I think this is the uh, difficult question in division two. So let me start with this. Okay. So in this, like there was a, let me take a test case also, because it's important here. CWC. So the question is like easier, but the main process will go in finding the in converting this input into an array. Once you did that, the question is lot easier. Okay, so what we need to do, we just need to find a diagonals element, which will be where I is equal to j. We need to find these element, but the problem is this is not given as a single input. It is given as this only, a string input. So we need to convert this into array. So what we can see, like we need to get we need to get each number. So we can see that this is useless, right? If we will take input, so these line is useless, right? So we can remove this line. So let's create a new one. Okay, let's create a new one after removing these lines. Okay, So what we did, we wrote some code to remove these lines. Okay, we will see what will be the code. So like what we are doing, we remove the odd number of lines, right? So we can just remove odd number of lines. So what we get after removing odd number of lines? Okay, my bad. Remove this, remove this, remove this, and remove this. Now we have four. Uh, like this was the number of walls. So number of wall minus one rows, and number of cells is equal to number of columns. Okay. Now we need to get each this element. So we can see each of this number is separated by like a dash. So what we can do, we can split this using anything like a Python split or something, and we can easily get each number, and then we can convert this string, because it will be a string, into an int and store into an array. So let's see, like after what we will do, like let's move CTR. Let's like after this, what we are doing, tools, is there replace there, add-ons, tools. So, okay, where is the find tool? Okay, let me see that. Replace with empty space. Replace. Okay. So we are replacing all this. So a new array will look something like this after removing each number. So let me just check on the chat if someone asks something specific. Uh, no. So okay. So there is nothing. So now we will remove this by stripping it, and after stripping it, we can get this, and we can easily convert it into array. So let's see what we can do. Let me do with the Python compiler, because for this it will be much easier, because Python is little human, near to a human language, so we can code it much easily. So what we need to do first, let's take the input. So input will be number of walls. So n walls is equal to input, and it will convert into int. Then we will have n cells, and cells. Okay, it should work out. We can just simply minus one. This is number of walls become number of rows, which will be n, and number of cells will become m. So we can just get the dimension of the matrix. So this will be the dimension of the matrix. Now what we can do, we can take input. So input will be number of wall plus number of that. So it will be, well, what we can do, we can do um, okay, we can create as a list. So let's say input, let's say matrix is equal to for input for I in range n plus m plus 1, because we did minus 1 here. So matrix will be this. So let's see what we are getting each time. So we took two inputs. Let's say we give, let's run this. We got 5, then we got 4, and then we give this as input. So let me copy this as one. So you will see. Okay, so 2 n plus n plus 1 into minus 1. Let me print matrix. So like these are type of question, it's easier if you like debug at that time only. because like it's lot of conversion, like because we are not getting a direct input here, we are getting a little bit like coded input, we can say. We need to convert into a matrix form. So that's why it's better to debug at that time only. So invalidated int with base 10, I given n and input. Let me use collab here. Is there space? Notebook. So till then, let me check out the chat. If there is something specific doubt, I think there is no doubt. Let's proceed with the session. Click here. From this. So connected, yes, it is done. So five, I think four, and then three. Okay, here it will create a problem because yeah, collab will give a lot of problem here. So, I need a compiler. Collab is good. It will take problem like while giving input because you have to give line by line input. I think it must be selection. None. Should be okay. Sorry, I think I copied the wrong input. This will be copy C. Okay, I have to give it a time. Yeah. So okay. So I need a compiler where can I give a direct input. Okay, this should work out. As it can be okay. Execute. Wait, input for in range. Okay. Into the string. Wait, why it's giving me issue? I'll take input. Let me just cross check one thing. It should not give issue. Still giving some issues. That's the input, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So n plus 1 range string input. Let me do one thing. X is equal to. So I can check where is the error. And I matrix dot and let's execute this. It's zero only. Why it's giving error while taking input? It's taking input, right? So let me try this thing. Should work well. And plus one. Yeah, why it's let me just give this some issue with taking equal to as input. Okay, so it shouldn't be there. Why it's happening? I can't understand. Then I yeah, yeah, it's okay. There's a problem to converting this. So let me just do this. I think it's a compiler issue more than the uh, logic issue because this is taken from the code which is tested for D2C. So I think it's more of a compiler issue. Okay, let me try this. Okay, that's weird. Let me just try it here only. So let's give 5, 4, and each line, and then go Control C, Control V. Okay, this is taking an input. It was some compiler issue. It will be a lot of time. What we will do, I'll do run it once, then we can store this input. Once collab, then like we can take advantage of this. Okay. Now I regret taking a larger input. I'll increase the font for this collab also. Just bear with me, like while pasting this whole input. Okay, okay. I think that's good. Yeah. So what was the issue? I think the issue was while taking the input it was converting into something, then the compiler was not able to understand this line as something. So it was trying to make sense, but it wasn't able. Interpreter was trying to make sense of this, but it was not able to do it. So now there's a matrix, and in matrix we have for each value we have this line, and we need to remove these lines, right? So we need only the even one. So what we can do for matrix is equal to f- yeah, matrix I for I in range length of matrix if I mod 2 is equal to 0. So we just need to get the even ones. So so let me print matrix after this. Okay, that will give a shoe. So let me print matrix after this. Matrix if okay, index is one, index is based one, so it should be one. Okay, I have to give input again. Oh shit. 5 4 those B. Let me start with the bottom one. Let's be bottom. Windows B. No, this line. Let's see. Which line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Windows B, this line. Windows B. First, second, third. This line. Windows B. This line. Windows B. This line. Windows B. Okay. I gave empty input here. Shit. I'll make a copy of this and won't give it direction. But damn it. I think this is before going ahead, let me create a copy of this. Mat is equal to matrix dot copy, or we can do this. Let me do this. Okay. Now anything we will do in mat rather than in matrix. Then we can easily get input from here. Okay. So let me do this. Let me run this. So we'll get this is input, right? Now we have converted into that form, like we have converted each walls. Now we have to convert it each horizontal wall. Now we need to remove each vertical wall. What we can do, we can easily convert this into matrix is equal to, so we can easily say we are splitting this somehow, right? We are splitting it with these lines, and we are stripping these extra spaces, and then we are converting this into it. So what if we try to code it? So what we are doing, it is a list first, and then we are mapping it into if lambda Lambda is basically an inline function. So lambda x, x is first stripped. What we are stripping because we need to remove these extra spaces, and then we are converting this into int. So int, and this is done with each wall element. So uh, I, let's say, line dot split in using this for line in mat. Okay, so then we can get the mat int with base 10, invalid literal for base 10, uh, extra strip. Let's just don't convert into int for a second. Check what we are getting as input. Mat. So we are getting this. Okay. So now we can. Okay. Now we getting this extra spaces. So we just need these one. So mat is equal to mat 1 comma minus 1, sorry, line for line in mat. We did this because we need to remove these ones and just need to get numbers, and then we will convert them into int. So we can do it right here only. So map int and convert this into list. So now after getting this, I think we will get a final matrix which we can use for anything. Yeah, now we get a 2D matrix. So we have converted our original input this into a 2D matrix of just numbers using this. So what we did first, we removed all the horizontal walls, these walls, by taking only the even number of all number of places, and then we remove the vertical walls by stripping them, and then we remove extra spaces by either strip or we used here that we saw that there was some extra things while we did this. While we did this, there was some extra inputs, so we remove those by that, and then we can easily, now we just need to take the diagonal elements, which we can do using a normal 2D loop, a normal nested loop, and where I is equal to j, we'll take those elements, we will store that in a list, and then we can just print out using the desired format. I think don't that won't be an issue. So let me just proceed with the next question. Let me check chat if there is some doubt in this question. If you want me to explain further, like how to print the output, just ping in chat. Then I first explain this, like how to give the output also for this. Then I'll proceed for the next question. Or should I proceed to the next question? Because we just need to take the diagonal elements where I is equal to j, and then we need to just print it. So I think it won't be an issue, but if still, I can code it out. I'll wait for some time. Okay, so there is okay, so there is no one. So let me just proceed with the next question. So I think all division 2 question are finished. So let me start with division 1 question. So division 1 question, first there was one chopsticks and there was one ball and piece. So first let's start with chopstick. So let me print copy the question and print in the window here. So the question was, there is stick with n segment and each segment has different stiffness. You need to break k segment and you can only break stick from either end. Break k segment such that least total strength is used. So if a stick is given, let's say stick is looking like this, or better, there are, let's say, six segment. Each segment has a different stiffness. So let's say this stiffness is one. Let's take the input only. There's some should be some sample input. Okay, test cases, sample input. Okay, this is the sample input. So each one of these segment have different stiffness. Okay, so it was 3, 4, 9, 4, 10, 4. So now what we need to do, we need to break this case, we need to take out the key segment from it. But it's given that we can only break from the either end. Now we need to print out total least strength use. So like to break this segment, it will require 3 strength. For break this segment, it will require 4 strength. So we need to take out k segments, but and at the end, only the least segment, the least strength should be used. So I can see we can break 3 here first, then we can break 4 here, and then we can break 4 here. So I think total 11 strength will be used, which will be the least one here. Okay, we can either break from here also, like take 3 segments from here, which will be 14 strength, which is like greater than 11. We can take 3 segments from here, which is I think 7 16, which is still greater. uh, it's 18 here, so it's still greater. We can take 2 from here, 1 from here, which is 17, which is also greater. So now what we can do with the brute force approach will be like taking trying out all the possibilities, like first taking from here, then taking 3 from here, like taking 3 from here, and taking 2 from here and 1 from here, and taking 1 from here and 2 from here, and then taking 0 from here and 3 from here. But like doing it repetitively will become difficult. So what we can do, we can convert this into a easier form. What we know that if we are taking these all segment, then we can't take any segment from here. And if we took this segment, one extra segment will first segment will be added, right? So like it's removing 9, and we're taking first segment from left, right? From first segment from right. If you remove both 3, 4 or 9, we'll take two segments from right. So as much segment we will remove from left, we're taking more segment from right. Using this, what we can do, we can do it in a one iteration only. What we can do, we can take first input. Let me take input here. So bits slash std c++ dot h vector int vn for int I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus cn pi, and we can just okay. Now what we can do, we can first take, we need to take k also as input. I forgot. What we can do, first we can take all from left segment. So let's do that first. So what we are doing, we are taking all from left segment. So I less than k, I plus plus, and sum plus is equal to v I. With assuming we are taking all from left segment, it can be one of the answers. So it can be the answer, and we need to minimize this. This can be answer. And how can we minimize this? What we can do, we are removing one from left and adding one from right. So left, what we will remove from left, we will remove k minus 1 segment, right? So k minus 1 index. So let me go back the test case. So we are removing 9, so which is 0 1 2. So k minus 1, then we will remove k minus 2, then we will remove k minus 3 basically, and we will add n minus 1, then n minus 2. So this how similarly. So where is the compiler? Okay, so we are taking k minus 1, and we are taking n minus 1, adding n minus 1. So what we can do, we are for I, we are not doing anything here. For I greater than is equal to 0, I plus plus, I minus minus, and j also minus minus, because we are removing one segment from a left side, and adding the right segment. So sum will is equal to sum minus one segment from left, which was vi, and adding the vj right segment. And the answer can be either this, or it can be possible that we know the min answer. So we will take min of both answer comma sum, and we can just print this answer. Okay, let's check this works out. It's 6 and 4. So 6 4 control V execute. 0. Oh, so what I did wrong? Main answer VIVJ sum plus is equal to sum is equal to sum minus VIVJ. Answer is equal to min. Okay, I didn't take K as input. Execute. 20. Still it's wrong. I take 6 4. Okay, it was 3 11. So let me try out some other test case. Close some big one. So let me take 10 6 1. So let's execute 243. And what we can do, one more thing. We can print out answer here, sum here, and we can print I here. So what will this will do? We can get what was the least segment also. So let's try it out. Execute. So 268 to the answer was 243. The 243 is not here. So the answer was taking all the left segments. The answer was taking all of these segments. But I think, yeah. So the answer was taking all these segments as the K segments. So let me try out some other test case where this is not the case. So let me take this whole as input. Let me strip this, print this here. Let's try out this. I think this should be a little different. Answer was 361. So it was taking all the right segment, I think. All these segment was the right answer. So I need a test case where there were taking few left and few from right. Let me find out one test case like this. This should be, hopefully this is it. Execute. So the answer 377. And okay, so what we are doing, we are taking five. Okay, so what we are taking, we have five segments from there here. So 1 2 3 4 5, and we can taking two from here. So we can see this makes sense, because if we remove 94 and 98 and take 29 and 75, it will make much more sense, because we are using less strength here than here. So we can see this logic works out. So we can proceed to the next question, which was which was a very yeah, ball and piece, which was very general question, but it was converted into a language that first it was need to be understood what was the question. So let me just read it out first. There were n balls. Each ball have a different value. You can merge two balls. After merging two balls, a new ball will form with a new value, which is same as the end of two value. So it's basically we have n values, and we can merge two value. So basically we can add two values. Okay. And to find a piece, you need to form a new ball with max value. And you can only merge two balls. So basically we need to find two numbers in array which has max and. Basically this is the question, but it was converted into a language that first it was need to be understood. So we are merging only two balls, and it can be any two balls, and merging two balls will give a new value of and we need the max value. So we can just pick the key points and figure out what is the question. So let's take the test case here. So control C, control V, and it was 4 8 12 16, and So 4 is 1 0 0. 8 is 1 0 0 0. 12 is 1 1 0 0 0. Sorry, 1 1 0 0 0. And 16 is, so I'm writing the binary representation for a reason here, because the logic will be much easier to understand if I write the binary representation. So we can see we will get max and here, because when we will do and, only the one will remain where both will be one. Those bit places will be remain. So if we will do and here, we will get 4. If we will do and here, we will get 8, which will be max here. If we do and here, we will get 0. Similarly for this, similarly for this. So it will only much make sense. So as we know, uh, that if a number is like this, 1000, will be always be greater than all the number if this bit is 0, and all numbers here can be anything. So x, it can be the 0 or 1. So what will be the max value here if all are 1? So we know if this bit is greater, then any number where this bit is off will be less than this, right? So if we need a max value, what we can see, we can start from left to right, and what we can do, we can find numbers which are set bit, right? So it's set in all. If it is set in one, that it won't make a much like difference. So we need any two numbers where this MSB is set it, right? So what we can do, we can start from here. Start from here. Let's do this. Start from here, and we will check how many MSB are set. So only one are set. So we will like it will not make distance. So we will go to second one. So here two are set, right? 1 and 2. So we will know we can use these set bits. So we'll remove all of the rest numbers. So let me remove other number also. 1 1 0 1 0 0 0 also, 1 also. Okay. So we will remove all these numbers, because we know any number will less than this will be small, because this will be converted into 0, and there is a possibility that number ahead will be in our final result. But as we know that this 2 bit is set and this is off, so we can never get answer greater than this, because if you take this 2 as input, as our two values to merge, we'll get a max value. So we can remove these now. Yes, we will remove these. Now we will go ahead and try it now with. Now we have how many set bit? We don't have any set bit. So like only set one set bit. We can't remove any. We have only zero set bit. We can't remove any, and one. So now what we have? We have a filtered array, and we need and now the output of any two, because we know we started from MSB and we filtered out those which can't be an answer, right? So we can merge any of these and we will get max answer. So if you will merge this, we will get 8. If we will merge this, we will get 8, and similarly. So let's try out this logic. Let's code it out. So let's go to the compiler. So we are taking n as input, say n vector n. Okay. So we are going from left bit to right bit. So the current vector, we have all numbers. We need to remove numbers. So for int I is equal to 32, let's say 31, I greater than is equal to 0, I plus plus. And for each number, so for each, let's say vector int temporary. So for int j is equal to 0, j less than nj plus plus, and int count, so number of count bit, set bit. This counter will be used to find number of set bit. What we'll do is, to if we check the bit is set, so it will be vi and 1 slash b. this will get and so if this is equal to 0, then the bit was off. So what we are doing, we are taking a mask like just a second. So what we are doing, we are taking a mask like this to if we have a number, any number, 1100101010, and if we end it with a mask where only a specific bit is set like this. So all other bit will become zero. Only this bit will be one if this is set. If this is zero, then we will get final input as a zero, and if this is one, we'll get one, two, three, four, five, and to keep our five as output. Because if we add to these, so what we are doing, we are moving this mask from MSB to LSB, and similarly we are taking if we are checking if it is zero or not, if its end is zero or not, and if it's zero, then we can assume it's not a set bit. So it should not be equal to zero. So, so what we'll do, we will do count plus plus because we know it's at a set bit, and we will push this into our array. So vj, it is vj, my bad, and this is I. What we're doing with filter, so let me do this filter, it will make much more sense. Okay, and if filter is greater than sorry, if count is greater than is equal to 2, because if count is 1, it won't make a difference because we don't have any number to AND with. So if count is greater than 2, then we will say our v is equal to filter, else nothing, and we can just print out see out v0 because any two number will be the max. So and v1, so we can try this. Let's first take the simple input, control C, and we know here that output was 8. Let's execute J, execute. So what we can do, we can okay. So it's taking too much time for input. Why it's so 4 4? Oh shit! I didn't do I minus minus. Okay, execute, execute. I minus minus J plus plus. Okay, I did up. See 12. Why we getting 12? What are v0 and v1? Vj, j is less than n. Also, it will be v dot size. My bad, because our vector size is changing. So what we can do, we can check what are the vector for each, like each after each filtering, what is our new vector. So int I in v, see out I space see out and line. So we can see after each filtering what is our new vector look like. So okay, okay, it's 32-bit set bit. So what we can do, we can take log of max number here. So I know the answer won't be get it. So let me do 10 because there is redundant input. So we say there are no, then we remove 4 and 16. So let me try out with another test case because this is a very small test case. So let's try out with something with 10 numbers, I guess. Yeah. Okay. So the max number is 98, which will be less than 2 to the power 10. So we can easily run this. So the answer was 98. So I think we should go with the log 20, right? So the answer was 68, I think. Let me check what was its answer. The answer was okay. So we filtered out each number. Santa was right. We filtered out each number, and then after filtering out, we did the last end. So that's why we got this is the output. So we are filtering out each number like this, and then we are taking what we're taking. Just one sec. Let's me do this with 51. Let's see. Yeah. So we just it's filtering, it's excessive filtering, so it's nothing else. So the main thing was here. So we filter out the numbers, and after the filter vector, we can print out like any two numbers. So, but we know for sure because there will be two elements, so we can either take 0 and 1. If there is more than two elements in the vector, we can go with 2, 3, 1, 2, anything. But we for sure know there's any combination in these, the filtered vector will give us the max answer here. So like this is how we can do this question. uh, so if you have any doubt, please like ping me in the chat or something. Then if there is no doubt, then we can end the session. So just let me check the chat for a second. There was few doubts while I was explaining things. So, so let me just check one thing also. Like, did we do everything right here? So it's 10. Execute. So what we can do one more thing. What we can do, we will do for. I think there is one issue with this code. Let me try this out. So INV max is equal to max of I, comma max. So max is equal to 0. So what we can do log of max plus 1 at max. And log of max should work out to log of max plus 1. If there is a max number of 4, log will be 2. If number is 5, then the log will be okay. So I think log base 2 max should work out. So log base 2, let me do log base 2. Let's do this so there will be no excessive. Sorry, max. There is no excessive numbers. So we started from the maximum set bit in the whole array. So this how like we eliminated everything. So after that, let me check. Is there anything else wrong? One LL not is equal to 0. V j 0 than less than 3. J plus plus count v push j filter printed I, we printed line, we put v0 and v1. So okay, so we don't need to use count here because what we can do, we can just filter this and we can check if filter size is greater than filtered of size is greater than 20. Okay. Okay. We can just take the filter dot size. Like I'm explaining this. If you have any doubt, please ping me in the chat because after explaining this, I'll end the session. So till then, like I'm giving few tips and tricks like how can we improve this code, and I'm thinking there should be some bug into it, but I don't see something. So if filter size greater than 2, 3 and line, we are greater than 0. Just let me check one more thing. Uh, Okay. So I'm cross-checking one thing because if everything is fine, then to go. Yeah. Yeah, we're good to go. Yeah. So there was some, like I was thinking something else. Okay, so this was the logic behind the question where we need to find max and off between two numbers. So if anyone have doubts, just ping in the chat. I think then we can. So hi Sohail, hi Shahid. So if anyone have doubt, then just please ping, or we can end the session. Let me cross check with the moderators once. This was a this will be the last mentoring session. So if you have any doubts related to code heist, like if you want to give a review about the code heist, please go for it. Like, do you want more session like this, or like how can we improve these sessions like this? How the competition can be made better, and what else? So so I think everything look good. Okay, then we can end the session right here. So thanks everyone, and keep coding. I guess. Thanks everyone.
If you still have any doubt, you can join Aryaman sir for one-on-one session, and the link is in the description and chat box. All the solutions of Code Heist will be posted on our GitHub organization. Join with the link in the description and chat box. So finally, we at GDSC-BU have always thrived to do more than expected, to push boundaries, and today we are happy to announce that our 6-week blockbuster event, Code High Season 1, has finally come to a conclusion. Code Heist ran for 6 weeks, consecutively accompanied with mentoring sessions. With over 3,000 plus registrations in both divisions, people came from our own and afar universities to grab this golden opportunity. Your enthusiasm and support has made this event a huge success with 10 plus sponsors, which are Cyberins, Digital Ocean, Give My Certificate, Balmisic, Hack Club, Hover Robotics, MentorX, Sting, Sticker Mule, Taskade, and Voice Flow increase the event's dignity and motivation for participants. Hence, we heartily thank you all and are happy to announce Code High Season 1 has successfully concluded. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.